Alright, back at work, doing an hour plus of cleaning. So everything is cleaned up here, spotless and clean right now, including my nice red hands. Solvent makes them sting pretty good. That's how you know it's good stuff. So I use Stoddard solvent. It's like Stutter, but it's Stoddard. Anyways, some people ask what I use. It works good. Eats up your hands too. But it kills off any germs where you got like little cuts in your thumbs and stuff. Yeah, nothing to grow in that. Okay, all this stuff is like I said, this is all done. That's all clean. That's clean. All this stuff here is clean. I went ahead and sanded the surfaces of the pipe here. See how they were tight. We sanded it. I lapped the ball seat in there, so hopefully it looks like a nice gray seat down there in the bottom. I don't know, I can't see. Hopefully it is. So the surface here too, there's no real marks. Indication of being tight. We knew it was. Looks like the oil pump shaft wasn't happy. You can see I was hitting on the inside of that. And I also went ahead and ground the gears a little bit to smooth them up. Make sure they're good and flat. So now all this stuff needs to be assembled up and find out why it's not enough clearance. It's almost zero. A few thou and there you can feel it. This one's a little bit higher than this one. Yeah, it has almost no, almost sticking up at all. That one's definitely not hitting. This side here barely. So I don't think this is the side that was the problem. These here are slightly taller than this side. This one's basically flush. When you put a gasket on it, it sticks out. It's got clearance. So anyway, we'll see that when we get to the gasket stage of the deal. Ah, wonderful. That's been helicoiled. I'm surprised that doesn't leak. Maybe it does leak, we just don't notice it. That could be too. I got on my nice stock cam here. Yeah, a little bit of lobe. Alright, so that all has to be figured out. Okay, I got some crank pin nuts here. I'm not going to use these little dinky ass, these ones. I'm going to use the later style flanged ones. I think these came out in 54. That's what they used before that. We're using them. I'll see how much torque I can pull these nuts. Probably not much. If they piss me off too much, I'll get some better stuff. Okay, we're going to use the stock flywheels and I'm going to use the stock rods. Stock rods take a lot of abuse and hold up. This is a stock stroke motor, so the stress element is like if you got a big stroker motor, you turn it at 7,500. So we'll turn this thing probably 8,000 or so. Should be fine. I don't see a problem there. Let's see. I don't like these chrome late model lifter blocks, but at least they are Harley. So I haven't made a decision on what I'm going to do with that. I don't like all these chrome parts, but oh well. Alright, got a little support on that, that's plus. Just have to check that. Gotta make sure the pinion bushing's good. This here I gotta scrape the surface off here. Just like I do on the lifter blocks over here, I didn't do yet. The rods need to be worked over yet. So pretty much all this stuff's good. I forgot to hone the main bearing over here. So I'm not sure how much clearance it has. I'm going to have to probably have to loosen it up and come back and clean the case 2 more times. Once to get the honing oil off, and then once to get the cleaning from the honing oil off. Everything gets cleaned at least twice after you work on it. That way it's spotlessly clean. You don't want no grit in your motors. So anyway, we already got that cut down. Now where's the other one at? There it is over here. This one's taller than this one, so let's see why that was interfering. Okay. Alright, we'll have to figure that out. A lot of stuff we got to figure out. So these I got to check the rod alignment. I had to hone out the bushing just slightly to get a race fit, and then I had to hone the big end to make sure it's good. So that's where we're at. The pinion shaft is inside oiling. So it only oils through the hole right here once a time around. It lines up with the hole right there. And that's the only time you get low oil to your crank. It's not a lot of oil. If you want to modify the system, you have to plug up that hole right there because it just dumps all the oil out. If you go to an end oils bushing, it just dumps everything out of the ground. So this one I think I'm just going to leave it stock. Something in my finger there. So we'll just make sure it's nice and loose and not worry about it. So I got to check the bearing fit on that. So right now I'm going to do the rods. Where's my tripod? First thing I got to do is go straighten the rods out. Ugh. After you hit yourself. It's important that the rods are straight, and you want to straighten them before you hone them, because when you straighten them it knocks the big end out around. I've seen up to a thou knocked out around. So that's my rod liner right there. Put it over like that. Everybody thinks that's just a towel holder. That keeps the rust off of my important parts. So we have a rod straightening tool. A good wrist pin, long one. Tightening tool, and the dog. The dog goes on the wrist pin here, and these 3 surfaces here check the tilt and stuff of the rod, so you know it's straight. You check them one at a time. It helps to have light on. You can't see nearly as well in the dark. So, it'll be real close. What are you looking at me for? I'm not important. All right. Knock this camera on the floor yet, so we're going to check this line right here. So you put your wrist pin in the hole. The racing fit that doesn't fit very well. There it goes. If I burnish it in like this, maybe it'll fit. There we go. I'm breaking it in, see? High spot's gone, look at that. There we go. See, instead of honing it, we just burnish it. Okay, so now you put that up there. You look right there for gaps. So if you see a big gap on the top here, you know it's not very good. Get that where you can kind of see it a little bit. There's a little bit of a gap right there. So that's a little bit of a gap over here on the bottom. Okay, so that means the rod is bent up like this and twisted like this slightly. So you go a little twist and a little bend, wiggle around a little bit to help yourself align it again, recenter it on your tool. This is the expanding mandrel down here I'm tightening on, and this has all been machined to be very accurate. I made it a lot more repeatable after I made some modifications. Okay, now you go up here and look at it and see what you did. Actually, I think I bent it the wrong way, but I need to go up, not down. Which way did I bend it? I forget. The stock rod is very strong. It's not moving. It's a good, strong rod. That's a big plus. Okay, gap's pretty thin. Overcorrect it slightly on the bend. Things go back pretty quickly, so it's not hard to move it backwards. The rod has a memory of where it was, so it looks pretty even. Okay, now you take it out of the machine here, down here, turn 180 degrees, put it back in. This is how you check accuracy. If it repeats, you're accurate. If it don't repeat, your tooling sucks. That light in my eye ain't helping. Here, move it up a little higher. Still, yeah, blind you. Turn that over there a little bit. I think I have a gap on the bottom. You always have to recenter it because of the movement. Very, very slight gap on the bottom. Flip it around. See if you got the same amount of gap on the bottom. If so, you're good. So you have a gap on the top. So repeated the same thing I need to do. I need to bend the rod toward me. So we'll flip it around. Bend it again. Basically taking everything out. I did the first bend. A little bit of a gap on the bottom still. Flip it around. Make it as close as you want it. Very, very small gap. And people are worried me about hurting the rod. I ain't hurting the rod. Does not want to go backwards. Keep more aggressive. If it won't bend, bend it until it bends. Then bring it back. That looks good there. It's pretty even. Good to me all the way around. I don't know if you can see in there or not. It's flat on both sides, so I'm good with it. Okay, now we take the male rod and do the same thing. Get the wrist pin to fit first. Go ahead and stand this back a little bit so you can see what I did. When you're up close, you can't see as much. This wrist pin is a little snug. Ah! Don't get your finger stuck in between here when it goes across. It hurts. Alright, it's freed up now. See the high spots? The shiny area is where its wrist pin's hitting, the dull area is where it's not hitting. So now I don't have to hone it because now the wrist pin fits. We'll check it with the other rod wrist pin though just to make sure. Okay, so we tighten that up. Put this up there, see what we got. Take a little bit of a gap on the bottom. This rod's nice and springy. It didn't move much. That means it's strong. Springs right back. That's a good sign. And that one looks good. You practice. I got it first. It's been all my wasted time on the first one. Alright, so that's how you do that. Not too hard to do. Takes practice, like everything. Some people want to know what kind of machine that is. I'll show you in a second. It's an automotive machine. I got everything there. It is a K.O. Lee. K.O. Lee company. That's what it is. I don't know what year it's from. The dad had it in the 60s. And appears he got it in April of 65. See, dad marks everything. So he probably bought it new because it looks like something from the 60s. So there you go. That was from April of 65. This is past April of 18, so that's a couple years ago. But, there you go. It's a good piece. It works. Been working for a lot of years. There you go. I've only seen 2 of those come up on eBay in all the years I've been on eBay. Not that I'm really looking for them. They went for pretty good money because the people that knew what they were willing to pay money for them. Tools like this you don't see very often pop up on there. So there you go. Now the towels also help you when you walk into it over here. It doesn't hurt you as much when you walk into it. It does a couple functions. Of course, everybody wants to wipe their hands on the dirty towels. That's why they're dirty now. They used to be clean. Oh well. Alright, so now we know what the rod is. Now we got to check the wrist pin bushing. See if I still have to hone it or not. If we don't have to hone it, then we're good. There's a wrist pin. Rod's on the floor now. Ooh, racing fit, I like that. They appear to be burnished in pretty good now. Oop. That's a race fit. Yeah, that one's not quite a race fit. It'll become a race fit though after I run it for a while. Nice and loose. Good. See? I fixed it. Not even trying. Okay, I gotta figure out what these rods are. What I'm gonna do is get a couple of numbers worked out here, what we got. Okay, here's the crank pin, it's a single hole. It's slid across the concrete floor, it's what those marks, shiny new marks are from. Dumbass dropped it. You have to figure out who the dumbass is around here. I'll give you a hint. I'm the only one that works here. What's that mean? Alright, so we're going to measure the crank pin here to see what diameter we got. Pretty far undersize. Yeah, way under. That's almost a thou. Damn, that's a thou under there. Ain't no thou there though. 9/10. What's this one? 9. There's 2. Yeah. Full thou under over on this side. This side's a little bit smaller than the rest of it. So it's 1/10 above 49. So on the 10th mic, you go over to the veneer scale, these 1, 2, 2, 3, all these here. And wherever these things line up, like this one's lined up around, what are we on, 5 or 3? Lines up on 3. That means we're a third of the way from 1 under. You got 0 is 25 thou, or 0, depending on how you count it. 24 is underneath it, that'd be 1 down. You see about a third of the way up, so you know you're about 3/10. So that's how you know. Anyway, the checking standard is on size, which is 0. It's 1 5/8, in case you didn't know. So you go ahead and set your dial bore gauge over here. Now this dial bore gauge will measure the millionths of an inch, if you want to get that close, but it easily measures tenths because every one of those lines is 1/10 of a thou. It's extremely accurate. Also extremely expensive, so don't drop it. Mine's kind of bindy from the coldness and also whatever oil's inside of it. So you gotta make sure you get to 0 out. Okay, right now it's at 0. See how slow the needle drop? That means inside there's got residue oil on there. So you just gotta give it time to let it settle in. Once it settles, it's always the same. That's all that matters. Okay, so now we get our standard set. What do I do with my plastic? There it is. Okay, so now we know what size the hole in the rod's going to be. Now I go find my rollers. This is one of the rod rollers. This is a carbide tip mic, veneer scale again. Everything's at room temperature, so everything has to be the same temperature to have any accuracy. If anybody tells you anything else, they are lying through their teeth. And if I hold on this mic too much, it gets hot, it's not accurate. It will change. Okay, this roller is 4/10. So that means it is 1/10 under standard, which would be 5. Drop on the floor always helps. Especially after you've already cleaned it. Clean. Okay, we'll measure another one. Now in the old days, standard was one thing. These days, standard means something else. That one's 3/10. Grab a few of them. 3/10. Check some of the small ones. 3/10 is what new standards are these days. So what I do is I put the roller in there and I spin it a little bit to let it kind of make sure there's no dirt on there. And so then you look at your vernier scale. This one is down at 2/10. Alright, so we're 2 3/10. I'm going to call it 3/10 as our number. Now I know what I need. This was 9/10 under. The rollers are 2/10 under what they should be. That's 4/10 because it's 2 on each side. Because we've got roller on this side, roller on that side. So that puts us at 1.3 thou under. I want to make these things loose. So 1.3 sounds just about right for me. So that means that gauge over there should be on 0 to give us 1.3 thou clearance, which is 13/10. Depending on what nomenclature you like to use. I tend to talk in tenths of thousands, so I'm looking for 13. Okay, so now I go over here. We can't see over there with a tripod sitting over there. Right, let's see what we got here. Blow this up a little bit. Let's see how far out of rounds these things are. Okay. So I want 0. These things are 1 thou undersized. They were put together really tight. Notice how it's 8/10 out of round though. So it's out around 8/10 and it's way tight. Try the other side. This one's only 5/10 out around. It goes from 4 to 9. This side here was 0 or 9. It was 9, 0. No, there's 1 right there. It went down to 2, so it's 8. So I got to hone this out and come up to 0, which means I got 2/10 to hone here and 1 thou in the worst spot. So I got a little bit of material to work with, but not much. And still use those old rollers. I do this a lot. I hone rods, make them a little bit looser. Okay, now this one here, where it's 4/10 and 1/10. 3/10 out around. Whoa! But look at that. That's over 1 thou. 4. So that's got 1,000 taper in the damn thing. So whoever honed that didn't do a very good job. So now I got to try to make that thing square and even. So we're going to do that with a rod hone. Okay, we're not using this one no more. So over here is our rod hones. But the one we wanted, these ones way back here. These are for connecting rods and main bearings, and these are for cars. So these are the Harley ones down here, the skinny ones. Alright. So this has 2 wipers, rubbing blocks here, and then it has the stone goes there. It's dark in here because I don't have the light on above us. Probably fix that. Turn the light on. There we go. How's that? Got light now. I'm honing in the dark. I'm fine. I like honing in the dark. Okay, this one here we're going to use a rubbing arbor over here. Rod goes there, rubs on here. There you go. That way you don't have to hold it and jerk on it and knock it out of true. Now if I yank on it like this, it makes this oval barrel shaped. So you hold it right here to go evenly as you can. Try not to screw it up. Okay, I got 3 different hones right here. So we got coarse. This one's coarse. C2 is coarse. And then one of these is fine. That's a 95, that's fine. So this one here, upside down. That's another CR2. What do I got 2 CR2s? Somebody's been mixing up my tools. Somebody's been over here screwing my stuff. Yeah, you're not supposed to have 2 of the same number. Alright, see I ground this as being number 1. That goes on my rod hone. This one's not ground, so it wasn't for a rod hone, it was for something else. Now it's mixed up. Just see, this one's got one mark. That's a 95. That's super fine. So I don't have my medium here. This has 2 marks, so that goes on a different mandrel. This is another 95, unmarked. Here's a CR2 with the 2 marks on it. So that goes over there. This here is a 83. So that's my medium grit, worn down. And this one here is a 95, that's fine. No marks on it. No marks. And this CR2 here has no marks. So, evidently, someone was over here helping me, trying to confuse me, and mixing up my tools. That makes me feel really, really nice when they do that. Well, let me see if I got some stones over here. Nope, nothing left over in the holders. So, somebody's been finger screwing my stuff. I don't like it when they do that. Okay, I'm going to take this real fine one here, 83. And we're going to call this a rod one. Stick that right there. Now, every one of these you got to make sure, each one of these wedges goes with certain stones because everything wears to that wedge into the mandrel. That's why you can't mix these. They wind up cutting real heavy on one side, not the other, when you mix and match. Because every tool has a different tolerance of fitment to it. Okay, so now I got stuff all organized again. Now the coarse one here will bring them in pretty quickly, but it hones a lot real fast, so I gotta be careful. So I'm gonna go ahead and flash hone that on it and see what happens. Now this one here we got almost nothing to work with, but we got a lot to take out on the one bad side. So hopefully it'll cut it pretty accurately. Now this mandrel is too big to use. This does not fit in here. This fits one of the other tools over there. So there is one of these is missing. So this goes over there. We're not using that. So my CR2 is gone. Great. This one's full of aluminum. This is CR2. And I'm going to steal this. This one's just about completely worn out anyway. So I'm going to take this and use it. Someone's been over here helping themselves to my stuff. Looks like I'm missing one of my shoes. I think there's a stone missing that has a shoe in it. And somebody put it where it doesn't belong, or something else to piss me off. Always like when you got nothing to work with and you gotta fix stuff. So, I think I'll grab me another rod to hold on. Okay, I got this bent rod from the 45 motor project, so I'm going to go ahead and hone out this and see how true my stones are here. So this crank here moves it out. My foot controls how much this moves. It also releases the brake at the same time. So, alright, so let's see what happens. Oil up here. big swing rod. Yep. Pulling the wrong rod. Good plan, failed application. Tank open over here. Everything has to be at the same temperature, so there's a cooling tank there. You got to cool the rods. Okay, I got the coarse one in here on this one now. This one we're keeping. Almost zero cutting pressure. Not taking out much material. Bump it up just a little bit. You go by feel where it's cutting. Tell which one's cut and the one which side. More on this side. Keeping up pretty close. Take the other round this out. Right off. This one's in that hole already. Got 3/10 right there, but you can hear it digging it real heavy, but I'm only halfway up the rod, so only partial the rod there. Both rods only got 10 or so to go. Basically snuck right up to the final one already. 25. Here would be the 83. Cuts more right in this area than the inside like it normally does. So you gotta remember what that is. off over there, so they're at room temperature now. Put the rods together. Cut the brush a little bit. Get the rods out around so I don't know how it's bouncing. Not take out very much material, so go back and forth like this all the time, not worry about it. Got the rods now bouncing quite a bit. You can see the finish, but it's pretty fine now. A little bit of heat in it. Not under. Still on around, but off. It always cuts the outer rod, not the center one hard at all. Clutch it again. Yep, good. I take a tenth out. Good. I got to cool the rods off. A bucket of oil over there is what's going on. It's back to room temperature for measure. 1 tenth out around. A couple tenths out on that one. Yeah, 2 tenths out. So the average is 0, but it's 2 tenths out. The other side will go on this one. About a tenth under there. About a tenth and a half out around, it's only half under, it's one over. Final cool down. Nice and oily. Okay, let's see if I can do this without getting the camera too full of oil. Alright, so we're going to put this over here. Get it to where you can see the gauge. Blow it up a little bit. Okay, so remember where you were at before. You were almost a full tenth above right there. Tenth and a half down right there. I'm wiggling around, inducing an air into it. So we're basically about half a tenth average undersize on this female rod, excuse me. And that's our male rod. So we're about the same area. We're about that tenth under. There we go. So we're basically about a tenth or to a half a tenth under what I was shooting for. But you can see the rods are pretty round and pretty well not tapered anymore either. So we got them cleaned up. It only took out a couple tenths from the biggest side that I had. I only went out maybe 2 tenths at most. So about 2 tenths. So that's not too bad. You take almost a thou out around with only 2 tenths of loss. That means you're doing a pretty good job. So the factory's not that close. So. Alright, so that's where you're at. I'm going to go clean these up right now in my hands. I'll be back.